Hi, everybody. Welcome to our new Money Monday live webinar. I'm just getting on here a couple minutes early so that I can see how the platform works, how it looks, make sure that I have everything set up appropriately. When and if anybody joins me, this is our very first one, so I recognize that people may not know about it just yet. But anybody, if anybody is listening or does listen, please let me know how it sounds, and also let me know what the video looks like. For example, is my Life with Crypto sign behind me in reverse for you? If it is, I have a setting that I can change that will make that correct. So just let me know. So let me see, I've got a couple people dinging me on my Signal app. So maybe we'll have some folks joining us at some point, but I'm going to go ahead and get started with our very first webinar. And I may ask people that join, if anybody does, how the sound is as we go along. So first thing is I got to share my screen. And before I do, I got to tell you all, I'm very excited to be back. I had a very long extended vacation. I took that vacation because I had been going full tilt boogie, if you will, for about 2 years, hosting several live webinars, calls, whatnot, several a week for the last 2 years. So I was getting a little bit worn out and I needed to get reorganized. And so I took some time for myself and I took some time to create the new MasterMind, which you're going to learn more about today. And anyway, it just feels good. And it feels really good to be back. So let's go ahead and get started so I don't ramble on too much. All right, so share my screen. Let's make sure this works well. I think it will. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and see how that works for everybody as well as for me. So let's go ahead and see how this works. Let me see if I can move me. It looks like, nope, I'm in the lower left no matter what I try to do. It doesn't look like I can move me. So, okay. So as I said, welcome to the Let's Crypto Mastermind Money Mondays webinar. So today's topic is indeed about our new mastermind. I'm going to go over some details about it. And for those of you who might be new, this is going to be great. But I think you'll find the content pretty enlightening. I'll be covering all the different topics that I'll be talking about all the different topics that I'll be covering over the next 12 months. So as I always like to say, hello, my Let's Crypto Mastermind members. Welcome to the first session of our newly expanded Money Monday live webinars. I'm your host and DeFi expert, Kelly Sunshall. Today starts a new journey in learning about crypto and blockchain. The new Money Monday webinar format has been expanded. Now, what that means for you is that you'll get detailed information and, when possible, live demonstrations for each and every topic I present. Plus, our new webinars last about 30 to 60 minutes, depending on the topic. And of course, the Money Monday trainings that I did in our free Facebook group only lasted around 10 to 15 minutes. So hence why these are now called the expanded Money Monday webinars. So I'd like to get started by sharing an overview of how I've designed the mastermind and what you can expect from it. And I have a chart to share. Now I recognize that this may be a little small, so I'm going to see if the actual PDF looks a little bigger, and yes, it does. So I want to share with you what my big purpose is. This is the overall vision, if you will, for the mastermind. And I can't fit very many words in that little box, so I kept it short and sweet. I'm also going to share what my vision is for a new member from start, when they first start the mastermind, and a year later, so start to finish. I'm going to talk about the weekly calendar and the monthly themes. So first off, the big purpose. We serve crypto holders looking to become six-figure crypto investors. We empower crypto holders to become crypto investors and build wealth previously thought impossible by learning to effectively invest, trade, and farm crypto to either increase an existing portfolio or build a nest egg for the future. Now that's the financial part of why I created this mastermind. There's another part that I couldn't fit in here, so I'm just going to say it out loud, and that is blockchain education. And the blockchain education is going to be a part of this mastermind so that everyone gets more and more prepared for the decentralized finance system that is in the process of being created. And it is built on top of blockchain technology. So I feel it's important to me, and I feel it's important for everyone to have an understanding of what's going on so you can make better decisions. So next, let's look at your year in the life. So to start, new members often own some crypto but are unsure how to profit from it. Many buy too high and sell too low, and they don't have a plan. They also don't know how to earn passive income with crypto. So if a new member stays with us for, let's say, 6 months to a year, I would expect premium members to understand their risk profile and have a plan for making a profit. They should know how to turn $1,000 into $10,000+ in a bull market and how to earn passive income in a bear market. And I'm going to talk more about that later in today's webinar. So that's the overall view. So how about when we get down to the weekly calendar? What kinds of things can you expect inside our mastermind? On Mondays, of course, we have our Money Monday live webinar. That's what I'm doing today. They last roughly 30 to 60 minutes. On Tuesdays, I'll be posting a question or a poll in the community, and that will probably go under the general discussion space so that all members will have access to it, whether they're free or premium. On Wednesday, we'll have a tip of the day or a review of one of the new quick guides. More about quick guides at a later time. On Thursday, we have our deep dive into DeFi community call with question and answer. And that's where we spend upwards of 2 to 3 hours doing a deep dive into all areas of decentralized finance. And you'll learn more about that as we go. But in the deep dive calls, we teach people how to set up actual yield farms. We talk about trading. We look at chart analysis. We do all kinds of things. And I always make sure that anyone that has a question, they get answered first before we go and jump into anything else on those calls. They are a very, very popular part of our mastermind. On Friday, I'm hoping to make some posts about blockchain technology and use cases. And this is where I want to address what I said earlier about people learning about the blockchain technology and what is it doing for us other than just decentralized finance. On Saturday, I will be definitely taking a break. And on Sundays, at least once a month, my intention is to, on a monthly basis, provide an early bird market analysis before the markets open on Monday. Well, they're always open in crypto, but before everybody gets involved on Monday, because the institutional players in crypto now, of course, they don't do anything until early Monday morning. Okay, so that is our weekly calendar. That is what you can expect to see. Now, this whole layout, of course, is tentative. There may be some changes over time if I see that things need to change based on member feedback or based on how I see things playing out. Excuse me. And so let's look at our monthly themes. So we have 12 monthly themes that correspond to the 12 months of the year. And I believe that right now my intention, excuse me, my intention is to follow these. So number 1 would be January, 2 is February, 3 is March, etc. And my intention is to have these themes follow the months just as they're laid out. So month number 1, January, would be about crypto narratives for the upcoming year. 2 is going to be about trading strategies. 3, which is March, will be about DeFi strategies. April will be crypto and taxes. 5 will be about crypto analysis, both technical and fundamental. 6 will be about crypto security and scams, how to avoid them. 7 will be about blockchain narratives, which is different from crypto narratives. 8 is going to be about investment planning. 9, which is September, will be yield farming. October is going to be advanced topics of my choice. And 11, November, is going to be big picture part 1, and December is big picture part 2. I'm assuming that in November and December, we won't have 4 weeks of webinars because we'll have some holidays in there. So I think that will work out just nicely. All right, let's go to the next page. Let me see, let's minimize this one. Go back to my presentation. And I want to take a closer look now at the monthly themes and give you a little bit more insight as to what will be covered in each one. So these are the general topics that I'm going to cover, as I said, on the Money Monday live webinars. And they'll also be the topics that I will want to make posts and articles about that will be in the feeds. And when I do a little run through of the site before this call ends, you'll be able to see what I mean by the spaces and the feeds and all that. So monthly theme number 1, crypto narratives. So this is where I will explain what a crypto narrative is, and we will go over what the hot topics, the hot crypto narratives or hot topics for the upcoming year might be. And I'll also be sharing with you some tips about where I gather that information. The next one is trading strategies. So I'm going to explain what I mean by trading strategies during that month, which right now is February. And so we'll be talking about swing trading versus day trading versus scalping. I'm also going to talk about crypto exchanges, both centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges during that same month. And we'll talk about how to choose an exchange. And I will touch briefly on a new program that I have that's part of our Knowledge Center, and it's called the 7 Steps to Trading Success. I will be sharing with you probably in the mastermind. I'll share in the quick guide section. I think I'm planning on sharing a checklist for the 7 steps to trading success. So you'll at least have the basic checklist. Under DeFi strategies, we're going to talk about in that month, what is DeFi specifically. And DeFi, of course, stands for decentralized finance. It's not always, it doesn't mean the same thing for everybody, I have come to find out. For me, what I'm going to talk about is going to be things like on-chain trading, liquidity pools, farming, airdrops, lending, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about centralized trading and how that is different from trading on a decentralized platform. Okay, next month is April. April, we're going to talk about everybody's favorite subject, which is crypto taxes. And I'm going to review parts of my Crypto Guard tax ebooks. I have 5 ebooks that I've written. For those of you who don't know, I was a tax accountant and a bookkeeper for about 15 years. And during that time is when I learned about Bitcoin and blockchain and all that. And I wrote 5 ebooks for taxes because at the time, for several years, I taught tax accountants about crypto. I traveled all the way around my area, the Willamette Valley, up and down from Portland to where I live. And I taught lots and lots of large groups about crypto and taxes. So I wrote these ebooks in order to summarize a lot of the questions that I got and to summarize what everybody needs to know about crypto and taxes. And this way, if you have this information, you can keep your own tax accountant honest and make sure they know what they're doing, because you'll know what you're doing when it comes to crypto and taxes. All right, the next topic is crypto analysis. So in crypto analysis during that month, I'm going to talk about technical analysis and reading charts. And I'm also going to talk about fundamental analysis for finding the next hidden gem. Now, I am in the process of developing a new step-by-step process for finding the next hidden gem. And it's not finalized yet. So when it is finalized, I will more than likely include the quick checklist in the quick guide for the mastermind, and the full guide will be available in the Let's Crypto Knowledge Center. Now, if you have any interest or curiosity about the Let's Crypto Knowledge Center, which is where I have all kinds of information, step-by-step instructions on how to go from A to Z as a crypto investor. If you're interested in that, just message me in the mastermind, and I'm happy to talk about it. Okay. After crypto analysis, we're going to talk about crypto scams and security. So crypto scams and how to avoid them. We'll talk about wallets and crypto transactions and how to keep your transactions safe. We'll talk about seed phrases, what are they and why they are important. And I'll also review a few wallets, some that I really like, some that I maybe don't like, and why I recommend the ones that I recommend. Next is blockchain narratives. Now this was, the content for that month is going to come from an 8-part series, that a training series that I gave to our Facebook group a few months ago. So this section is going to explain what blockchain narratives are, and here's how I have organized the different narratives. One narrative is about just Bitcoin, what's going on in the Bitcoin world. One is about altcoins and what's going on in the altcoin world. And one is about blockchain use cases. One will be specifically about crypto and money. One is what I like to call the heart of blockchain, which in the past I've talked about nonprofit organizations and what they're doing for people around the world using blockchain technology. Another narrative is self-sovereign identity. That's going to be a big one. I won't go off script too much, but I really am interested in self-sovereign identity and how they're solving that problem using blockchain. In a nutshell, once they get that going, it kind of is going, but once we all learn how to use it, we should be able to control our identity, including our healthcare information and who it gets shared with. Another blockchain narrative is Web 2 and Web 3. What are they and how are they different? We are currently in Web 3. What is tokenization? That's another narrative. And the last one I have listed here is RWAs, which is real world assets. And real world assets and tokenization kind of go hand in hand. So we'll see how all those narratives play out when it's time for me to talk about them. So the next topic during our 12 months is investment planning. And so in this section, I'm going to cover investor mindset and where many investors unfortunately go wrong. We'll talk about investing patience and my 5-step process for investing success. I'm also going to share my portfolio cycle chart so you can see how my portfolio has done this since I started, but overall, it's been an upward trajectory. That means I believe that your portfolio can do the same. The next topic is yield farming. And yield farming, what do we see? December, November, October, that looks like September. We'll talk about yield farming. And so the first thing I'm going to do is explain what is yield farming and what are airdrops and why should we care about them. What's the difference between a low-risk farming strategy and a high-risk farming strategy? And I got to tell you, I've been very, very pleased with my airdrop so far this year. I have earned, I don't know, I've earned probably somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000 just on my airdrops. And airdrops means I didn't spend any money to get that $5,000 to $6,000. All I had to do was use certain blockchain platforms, participate in them, make transactions, and that is what netted me several different airdrops. I'm very pleased with that. And there's more airdrops to come, so we will be talking about that. The next topic is advanced topics, and this is where I'm going to talk about blockchain versus distributed ledger technology, or DLTs. What's the difference between a blockchain and a DLT, and how are they similar? And why does it matter? And I'm going to also in advanced topics, I'm going to talk about how to research your transactions on chain. How can you actually find your transactions that you do in DeFi? How can you find those on the chain, on blockchain? And how to read a block explorer, because that is where you go and find all those transactions. So how to find your on-chain transactions and how to read them in a block explorer. Plus, I'm going to be offering some tools tips, techniques, and research tools during the advanced topic month. Making our way down, we are moving on to November, and that is Big Picture Part 1. And in Big Picture Part 1, I'm going to talk about why we should all care about crypto, or at the very least, why I care about crypto. And this is a 4-part series that I gave some time ago on what led up to the creation of Bitcoin, including bank failures and many other things. So I'm going to fit that 4-part series into the month of November. And then for December, as we get ready for the new coming year, I'm going to talk about digital versus cryptocurrency versus stable coins. I'm going to talk about crypto cycles, like bull market versus the bear market. What is a crypto winter and why do we have them? And I'm going to also talk about during that time how to spend crypto like cash. It's going to be another fun one. So I'm looking forward to more people finding out about our Money Monday live trainings having been moved to our new platform, because I love when I have people join me and provide their comments and give me feedback about what do you think about what I'm talking about. All right, let's move on to the next page. Now that we've discussed our monthly themes, I want to address the skeptics in the room who believe it is not possible to turn $1,000 into $10,000 or more in one bull run. And I'm going to talk about this subject by using AVAX. I'm going to use AVAX as an example, and I'm going to show you what just recently happened. In 5 months, it gained well over 500% from October 15, 2023 to March 15, 2024. Now, keep in mind, AVAX is a high quality project. It's a high quality token. It's not what is lovingly called around the crypto world a poo coin. And sometimes meme coins, they can gain 1,000 to 2,000%. So you might think 500% is not all that much, but I'm telling you, for a high quality asset like AVAX, that's a big move. So let's look at the chart. So here's the chart as I've taken a screenshot of it on TradingView, and we'll look at the actual live chart here in just a minute. But I wanted to just show you a screenshot and talk about it a little bit. So this chart, when this green line started racing up, like it says, 470% gain is what we had during this first run. So this line here going to the left, which I don't believe you can see me moving my cursor here. You can if I do it over here. Here we go. So as I was saying, this green line is when it took off. Obviously, the price just took off 470% gain. This occurred right around October 15th. That's when the entire market took off. And prior to that, we had been in a crypto winter for 3 years. And this is when it literally just turned on a dime and took off. Now, if you knew how to read charts, you would have recognized that things were beginning to change. You can see it right here, just in the little bit I'm showing you, that volume started taking off right before the price eventually soared. Then we had a little bit of a pullback in January. And then shortly after that, it didn't take very long, it took off again. Now, each of these candles that you're seeing on the screen represents 2 days. This is a 2-day Bitcoin chart. And once it hit its bottom here, it actually, in this 2-day chart, it had a double bottom. That's a strong signal. And it took off and ran another 120%. So even if you hadn't caught this entire run, if you had just caught a portion of it, you would have made out very well. But if you had managed to catch both of these runs up, you would have had over a 590% gain. So what exactly does that mean? Well, before we go and talk about that, I'm going to just show you the live chart so that you can see that I'm telling you the truth. This is what it looks like on a 2-day, this is a 2-day time frame, because I couldn't quite fit it all comfortably on a 1-day time frame. And then if we go forward, you can see where we are today. So after we had this huge run up the second time, I want you to notice that we had a double top on both of these times before it started to fall down. Very, very strong telling sign. And the candle that it is at the top is also strong telling. But the candle that happened next is even more telling. So I'm not going to get into a lot of candle dynamics right now. I just want you to see the live chart and see where we are today. So we had a pretty good pullback after, of course, this happened after the Bitcoin halving. And we now have a good support right here. We're starting some good support right here. And sure enough, it's starting to take off again. And once you get comfortable reading charts, you will have been able to recognize this and trade accordingly in your own portfolio. So that's the live chart and where I came up with this information about these huge gains. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. See how we're doing on time. This is going to be a bit of a shorter webinar. It's not going to be 60 minutes long, but I think you'll still find it interesting. So let's go on to the next slide here. So if you had capitalized on this trade that I just showed you by spending $1,000 on spot AVAX, believe it or not, your portfolio would have ballooned to $6,900. Now, if you don't believe me, I'm going to say, let's look at this calculator. So I have a calculator here that I found that I kind of like. Whoops, let's just move this. There we go. So in this calculator, there's lots of different things you can calculate, but I'm going to use this percent change calculator. So I will put the link to this calculator. I'll put it in the comments after the call, but I'm going to go ahead and see if I can put it in the, I'm going to put it in the comments for the call live as well. So I want to see how that plays out. So in this percent calculator, we're going to assume that we started out with $1,000 and it increased according to the chart that we just looked at. If we had followed that trade, 590%. And I click on calculate, and here it clearly shows me that your portfolio balance at the end of the time period where it went up 590%, your portfolio balance would have been $6,900. Your increase would have been $5,900. Okay. And if you have any questions about stuff like this, feel free to ask questions in the mastermind. I or somebody else will be happy to answer any questions that come up. So let's pretend like, what if you'd only caught part of it? Let's say you put in a $500. You didn't have $1,000 to spend. And let's say you had caught the full 590%. Let's see how much you would have made. Well, you would have made $3,000. You would have had a profit. I mean, your portfolio balance, would have been $3,450. And then if you want to understand all the math and how they calculate that, they do show it all down below here, which I'm not going to go into right now. Now let's think, now what would have happened if you had only put $500 in? And let's say you didn't catch the whole thing. Let's say, let's look at that chart again. And let's say, wrong one. Let's say, let's look at here. Let's say you had only caught the first one, that you didn't catch the second leg. Let's say you only caught the first leg and you got 470% gain. So let's put in 470, hit calculate. And you would have made $2,850. Now, in my world, to have a portfolio go from $500 to $2,850 in a matter of, let's see, how much time is that? That is from, like I said, middle of October to roughly, I'll say the middle of December, towards the end of December. So let's say October, November, December, 2 months. 2 months. 2 months, you could have had your portfolio go from $500 to $2,850. I would say if you learn how to do that successfully and you can duplicate it, you are well on your way in one bull market to make $10,000 or more dollars, because this is just one trade. Now, if you got this trade right, you now have $2,850 potentially in cash that you can go do another trade. But of course, I never recommend you spend all your eggs. So you would want to pull out at least your $500 and only use at most, what would that be? $2,350. So there's just a little bit of an investing advice there. Okay, so let's go back and see what I got to say here. So below is a useful chart. I've got another chart here for you that's going to show you, people oftentimes get confused when people talk about, I 10x my portfolio, I 5x my portfolio, I 500x my portfolio. But what does that really mean? So I've got a chart here that's going to explain it to you very well. So below is a useful chart showing rates of return by both percentages and multiples. But in this chart, it was written for millions of dollars. So just pretend like pretend like the M is a K, so that the starting cash is $1,000, not $1 million. And the ending cash is also in thousands of dollars. And if you hold that in your mind, then this chart I'm going to show you will be very useful. So let's take a look. So as I said, we're going to say our starting cash was $1,000. And if our ending cash was also $1,000, we didn't make anything. That's a 1x return or multiple and a 0% return. So what if you had put down $1,000 and you ended up with $1,500? That's a 50% return, or a 1.5x. Well, let's jump up here and say, what if I put down $1,000 and my ending cash, my ending portfolio balance was $5,000? Now that would be a 5x. You hear people talk about 5x, but it's a 400% return, not a 500% return. People oftentimes get confused by that. So that's why I like to keep charts like this around, so that I don't have to worry about remembering. I can just look at the chart and be reminded. Let's see, let's look at another one. So let's pretend like we did a 10x. And if we did a 10x, that means we took $1,000 and we ended up with $10,000. That would be a 900% rate of return, and that would be a multiple of 10x. So next time you hear somebody talk about 5x, 10x, 100x, you can refer to this chart and know what they're talking about. So I hope you all found that somewhat helpful. And I love comments even after this recording is all done and it's you're listening to the recording rather than live. I love to hear some comments about what you think about the content. Okay, let's see what else I have for our agenda today. So in the Let's Crypto Mastermind and the Let's Crypto Knowledge Center, I do teach my 7 steps to trading success, which will help you develop the skills for recognizing price action tops and bottoms. Now, in the Mastermind, the 7 steps to trading success will be available to some of the premium plans. Probably, I'm not exactly sure which ones, but probably the deep dive plan for sure is where it will be. And if anybody's interested in learning more about the Let's Crypto Knowledge Center, please just reach out to me. So in summary for today, I really hope you enjoyed this new expanded Money Monday live webinar. My intention is to do a deeper dive into each of the topics that I present to you. And if it ends up being too much by doing one of these every week, then I may shorten it and just do like 3 weeks out of a month. We'll see. This is flexible. But for now, I really hope you enjoyed the one I presented today. I realize it was mostly an overview of the Mastermind, but I hope that helped you decide that it is something that would be of value to you in the future. And maybe you'll consider looking at some of the premium plans where you can access some of that content that I just talked about. So thank you for joining me today. And if you did find value in the material that I presented, please consider inviting your friends and families to join the Mastermind. The greatest compliment any content developer can get is when people value it enough to invite their friends and families. So I would greatly appreciate that. So understanding crypto and blockchain, in my opinion, is an essential part of becoming a successful crypto investor. And that's why in my mastermind, I'm going to be talking about crypto as far as finance goes and blockchain as far as technology goes. I'll be talking about both of those because they work hand in hand. So as always, stay curious, keep learning, and share your thoughts or questions in the comment section after this recording. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. Bye for now. Take care, everybody. Okay. And there's the end button. All right. Bye. Bye all.